Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with and talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
How I want to answer the second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Board with us.
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
Monday, September 11th, 2023. I am Jimmy here with Chris. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Jay-Z is dealing with some sick kids, so maybe he'll pop in later, maybe not. Hopefully everything's good there. We got some things to catch up on since we missed with Labor Day and everything, and then Tuscarora 50, which ended up being for naught, and we'll talk about that. But we got basically the entire Labor Day weekend to catch up on. You know, we had Williamsgrove, we had Dirt Classic, we had the Sportsman 100 at BAPS, we had Selinsgrove, and of course Fair Opener and Labor Day Classic at Port Royal. And there's a lot of other topics. We put a post out about an hour ago, and we have a lot of couple topics to hit on that you guys want to hear us talk about. A lot of interesting topics that we can really go into the weeds on. So yeah, we're gonna get into that and much more. Whatever you guys want to hear, make sure you guys put it up in the chat, and it's as much for you guys as it is for us. Chris, how you doing?
Doing all right. Looking forward to this show. Wish Jay-Z was here because he has all the opinions, but we'll make do.
For sure. Tyler, what's going on? Tyler was at the World 100. We'll talk about that a little bit later. He has a little bit of insight since he was there. But let's go back to last Friday, and we'll start with Williamsgrove. Jim and Sandy Klein tribute race. Brett Marks the winner. He went quick time. Pretty much led the entire. I think he did lead all 25 laps.
I believe.
There's a Anthony Macri sighting who finished second. We had Brian Brown there.
Brian Brown. I guess Brian Brown started in the pole, and that's right. Brent passed him, but so big field. Lance was there, 39M.
Yeah. Not really much to talk about from this one. I mean, Brent really just dominated from the drop. What there is to talk about in the 358 feature, Jaden Wolf getting the win, his first of 2 wins in back-to-back days. Congratulations to him. That's awesome.
His first win, Selinsgrove, I believe.
Yeah. Kyle Keen ended up getting an 8th place in that feature as well. Shout out Kyle. Even though the next day didn't go so well for him. So yeah, I mean, it was good. Something maybe to kind of touch on here, because I'm looking at the results here. Cam Smith finished last, and it was also announced that he is out of that Tron 39 car, which is interesting. He was running okay in it, I thought, and he's the one that chose to leave.
He was fresh off of almost sweeping the night a couple weeks ago when they had the makeup features. He was leading both and kind of just got away from him. He's looked pretty fast lately, so that's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds for him. He doesn't have a ride right now. We'll see what happens there. He's a young talent. We've had him on the show. Good kid. We'll see what happens there. Anything else from Williamsgrove? There wasn't. We'll just kind of quick hit these since these are 2 weeks in the past here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm good with that, and then because I want Tony Sharp would be happy about where I want to go next.
Well, Saturday, then we had a trifecta of races here in PA. We had the fair opener at Port Royal, which Devin Borden won, which pretty much locked up the track championship for him. That was his 6th win of the year there.
I believe it was.
I think he's just really good there all season. Congratulations to him. Saturday night, who won Lincoln? I feel like it's tip of my tongue.
You think he only ever wins and gets hated on for it?
Freddie Raymer wins on Saturday night,
and he
and
tough guys.
Yeah, it was a tough field. 30 some cars. And then Jaden Wolf won the 358 feature there, going back to back both nights, which is great for him. Congratulations to Jaden. That's he shows a lot of speed.
Neither one of us were there.
No,
Jeremy was there. I was at BAPS.
You were at BAPS for the Sportsman 100.
That was a really cool event to be at. I'm glad I went to that. I hung out with Ruts Motorsports, Eric Ruts there, got to cheer those guys on. Eventful night. I mean, first race I went to that was not a 410 sprint car main event. Like, I knew sports and stuff from growing up with growing up with like Steve Wilbur and Rick Eichelberg growing up, but that event was cool. How the driver intro stuff was really cool. Every single driver got called out. They took a group picture. The race, the laps, so many twists and turns. I think there was 4 different leaders from just chaos. Tony Jackson's up winning. A little bit of controversy there. Him and Russ get together, kind of break his car while he was going to lead. Ellinger was leading, ran over a lap car, took him out of lead, but he still got back to 4th. So just I wanted to applaud those guys for promoting that race and just having it that whole night, making it feel bigger.
What did they do?
They promoted it.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
That's a newfangled word.
It's something that's catching some traction this week. But they promoted it, and we went there, and I'm glad that I was there to watch it. And it was something completely different. And shout out to BAPS and that whole program for what they put on there.
Yeah, you were saying you were sending some pictures and stuff as you were there. It looked like a pretty cool event. Looked like a good time.
Yeah, before the feature, I mean, we had 30, 40 minutes of downtime just on the track. They're taking photos. They brought all the cars around to park on the front stretch. It was just so different from what I'm used to. Just walking around the front stretch, hanging out, talking to the officials, talking to other crew chiefs. Everyone kind of calmed down because you locked yourself in.
Did you only talk to officials? You didn't.
We did.
Did
only
they actually just talk to you?
This one did, yes. Great guy. Maybe it was Tony. I don't know. But it was interesting. So you went to Springfield the other week, and you got to see that side of it with Silver Crown, and this kind of felt like a small version of that, where you had to be top 12 to lock in qualifying, and everyone's out there in race pass, race monitor, watching if they're gonna make it in or not, and who's left, and the drama, and Eric missed it by 1 spot,
You start
was like,
start biting your fingernails a little bit.
right, and he was getting down there. It was like, well, Wilbur's going. Like, well, one guy you thought was going to get you didn't, and like he missed it by one, but he ended up winning the B main. So I think his first win in a super sportsman, it was a B main or heat race was the same idea. But so I was excited to be there for that, and then seeing how much stuff he broke without hitting anything during that race was pretty impressive too. The wing, he finished 9th with the wing collapsing in the front. It's like the wild night. But like being on the track, hanging out, that whole thing, family oriented. The crews are different than what I'm used to. So it was a great time. I can't wait to do it again.
It sounded like a great time. And Tony Jackson won that.
Tony Jackson did, in fact, win that.
410 driver Tony Jackson.
Pretty much.
Or soon to be 410 driver Tony Jackson.
So
yeah,
there's a cat doing weird things on my porch. Yep.
There's a cat on your porch.
Doing weird things, just rolling around. I don't understand what's happening.
So that was BAPS on Saturday. Great. It looked like a great event. There's a lot of, what was that word that you used?
Promotion.
And there's a lot of promotion behind it.
And here's something I forgot about. I pulled in there. You didn't go to the Outlaw show at BAPS. Right, Jimmy? You didn't go there.
No, I did not. No.
But I was there Wednesday and it was packed. We went there Thursday and obviously the rain, some people had to stay away. This was very similar to that Thursday crowd when I pulled in, like as far as cars go and stuff. So they have a good following for it was late models, 602 mods, and super sportsmen, but still a good crowd. Like,
that's good, especially with
everything
two
else
other big
on.
races going on. You know, you had 410s at Port, and then you obviously had the Dirt Classic kickoff, at least at Lincoln that same night. So I wish Jeremy was here so he could give us a little bit of insight on the Dirt Classic, because I know he had some opinions on it.
I saw a lot of people with opinions on that, and I know somebody mentioned in our pre-show comments about bashing drivers and stuff because it happened again. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I know Sunday we were watching. Danny probably almost stole that race there at the end. Got around Brent, got it, put it in the fence, just going for it. Photo finish.
Yeah, he definitely sent it on. So on Sunday for the actual Dirt Classic, and this is where we're going to get into some maybe controversial stuff. But we'll go with Lincoln Dirt Classic first. Brett Marks brings it home. That's back-to-back Dirt Classics for him. He led most of that race, if I remember correctly. He led pretty much most of that race. And then Danny caught him in traffic, threw a hellacious slider, I think the last corner, basically.
Yeah.
And it was a drag race to the line. If Danny just a couple inches didn't get so hard into the wall, maybe just lifted a little bit more. But he went for it, man. There was a great finish. Definitely very exciting. It was 0.03 seconds at the line. Marks over Dietrich, and in third, scrolling down the results here, was Troy Wagaman coming home on that podium. So shout out to Troy. That was awesome.
He led early, I believe. Who finished second? Did Dietz? Someone said Dietz. He finished second Saturday. Chase Dietz.
He finished 7th on Sunday, and I'm going back here, and if it would load up.
Chase Dietz is still having an impressive year, starting that team over the winter months, kind of on short notice.
The top 5 on Saturday was Raymer, Marks, Macri, Dietrich, Peck, and then DeWeese and Dietz. Dietz finished 7th both nights.
Still an impressive year. I keep pointing that out.
Wagaman led the first 20 laps. I didn't know he led that many laps. I knew he led the first chunk, but
because we were too busy biting our fingernails for him.
Yeah.
A little controversy there. Freddie Raymer again, Anthony Macri, Thorson, they all.
Yeah.
This
Thorson,
started a debate on.
I forgot about that. Thanks for jogging my memory. Thorson got out of the car. He had
some words.
Had some words for Freddie. Yeah,
I think I read somewhere track officials had to get him away, but.
Oh, really?
I read that somewhere. I don't know how true it is.
Maybe somebody could give us some insight there.
I don't think he was there.
But yeah, I mean, I know Tanner went on social media then afterwards. Basically, Freddie was trying to throw, I guess, a slider. I don't really know what it was. And just Macri's committed to the top and just ran out of room. And then Thorson got caught up, and they were all up front. You know, they were all within the top 5. All 3 of them had a chance.
It's unfortunate.
So,
I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened. Unfortunate that it's Freddie is involved, but he's just being aggressive. That's his style there. That's kind of how everyone drives there, and it's maybe he's taking it farther and he's doing different things. But I mean, he's won 9 races there this year, 10,
something like that. He's won a lot. It's
working. So
yeah, he has won what? Like we were talking about this earlier today.
I think races you said.
He has won 27.6% of his starts this season. Granted, most of them are at Lincoln and Williams-Grove. Tyler, I think it's 12. So, I mean, he's been good, but he's also, it hasn't been short of some controversy. It seems like it just has been following him. And maybe it's just a symptom of, you know, if you can't beat him, hate him. Or, if, you know, you just get sick of getting raced a certain way. You know? Obviously, we talked about that with the whole Danny thing.
Hey, that's for them guys to figure out.
Yeah,
but I think
us as fans, though,
we can have opinions, but
it's we could have opinion, and you know, it's definitely entertaining for us. But there is definitely a line,
right? And Aunt Bay talks about initially looking at live, like, wow, what a jerk move that was, Freddie. But you look at back and kind of see what's going on. It's just 2 guys racing, which is 90% of these crashes. You go back to Danny and Freddie, same thing. It was
just racing hard. You're racing for, what was it? How much was it to win? $20,000? $20,000 to win, I think, on Saturday.
No, not Saturday.
Or Sunday, I'm sorry. The Dirt Classic. Yeah, $20,000 to win. So, I mean, you're racing for a good chunk of change. You know, and like Aunt Bay says here, originally looked like Freddie was driving like a dick, but watching the highlights from the front stretch, it was 2 guys racing hard for a spot. And I tend to agree. I mean, Freddie came up a little bit too high. Macri was just so committed to the top, he wasn't able to check up in time, and they just ran out of room racing hard. Still, you know,
it didn't look like either one planned on checking up. So
no, nobody was going to lift. Nobody's lifting at that point. You're going for it. You could debate, is that the time to go for it? You know, that early.
Racing.
But yeah,
I guess
car racing, man.
I think what came from that was a lot of the negative fan reaction, and someone was it. If I could find it quick, the comment before the show. Yeah,
brother on brother crime.
True. I mean, everyone's guilty. So, you just think how fans treat drivers and teams, and how teams treat fans and drivers. We could all be better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, you let the fandom a little bit carry you a little bit, and you play with, you know, you really kind of run with your emotions, and you don't think about like, hey, because it's the same thing with other sports like football and stuff like that. It's like it's, you know, especially like something like college football. It's like you forget that these are just human beings, you know, and mistakes happen and stuff.
Forget that they have families maybe sitting right with you.
Yeah.
You think, well, your hatred for the 8 or the 48 or whatever it is somebody's Freddie, Danny. So, I mean, I don't know how we can preach that and get that out there to more people, but
yeah, just, you know, there's a line. You don't have to make it so personal.
It's not serious for them, not for us. We get to yell.
Yeah.
And drink beer.
They have much more on the line. So that was. I did not go to Dirt Classic. I went to Selinsgrove, which Sunday Labor Day is always Selinsgrove's date. I don't care what anybody says. I will forever go to Selinsgrove on Sunday of Labor Day.
Fire off.
And they only got 5 less cars for 15,000 less to win. So it was good to see. For me, it was good to see good car counts, full fields at both tracks. I think it was good. I think it proves it could work. I just don't know if it works for Lincoln, because this is their crown jewel event, and It didn't sound like they had maybe the turnout that they wanted. I don't know if I don't know if
don't know.
anybody in the chat could attest to that. I don't really know. But I mean, they only got 30 cars, and I say only 30 because when you go and look at somewhere like Tuscarora 50, you're going to see Natty Open, you're going to see 40, 50 cars, and Dirt Classic used to get about 40 cars, when it was all in that one night. But they tried something with 2 dates. I personally think it was a good thing that both had full fields. Like I said, I think it's good to show that they both can work, just like Lincoln and Port both work on Saturday nights. I think you could only do it on a holiday weekend like that where everybody is off on Monday.
It makes sense. That's the thing. Like, they're so far enough apart, just like regular Saturday. Very few, like, you're not driving to Lincoln and driving past Selinsgrove unless you had a really good reason to go to Dirt Classic. Now, is that a Dirt Classic problem? Because it's trying to build up into a crown jewel where it's worth that drive? I don't know. I mean, I would chose to go to Bass for Sportsman 100. So,
Yeah.
but that was
Yeah,
more
but you had other reasons. Like everybody
right,
has a reason why they go
right,
somewhere.
right.
And
this can't be lost in this.
right. And you kind of went to Bass because of a thing called promotion.
And
you were
right.
with one of the teams too.
He's been asking me for weeks. He's been asking me for weeks, and I finally thought it was a good week to go and experience that. So I'm gonna actually go back.
So, go ahead.
I was just saying, I really want to be back when they're there with the 410s in a few weeks.
So Steph Showalker here says it was an okay turnout. We always go to Lincoln due to the drive, so we were there. Exactly. And for me, Selinsgrove is less than about 30 minutes away from me compared to Lincoln, that's over 2 hours away. So yeah, I'm gonna go to Selinsgrove. But also, when the schedule first came out, me as a Selinsgrove stan, is like, come on, man. Like Selinsgrove only gets a handful of dates the way it is, and now you're gonna try to take one of them. You're gonna try to stomp on one of them. But I was very happy to see that it worked out for both of them. That the crowd turnout, I would say, is okay. And maybe that's something that maybe they need to work out. Because it could have been really good for one track and really good for another track if they would have maybe worked together a little bit. Steph said one day we want to make it to Selinsgrove and Port. I definitely suggested to maybe try to find a weekend where you can do both or something, where Port runs on a Saturday and Selinsgrove runs on a Sunday, like Speed Week or something. Selinsgrove, great. Anyway, but
talk about how great it is.
It was a good race. Brian Brown dominated all night. He was just fast. He's very fast at Selinsgrove. Dylan Sisney finished second. Devin Borden was coming. I really thought, looking at race monitor and watching them on track as they were getting in the heavier lap traffic, Borden was coming. He was probably going to catch him about 2-3 to go, maybe even a little bit sooner, depending on how traffic was. And he blew a motor with like 3 to go, which was unfortunate. So Douglas Kreiser says, we're very fortunate to have options to which track drivers and fans can attend. Exactly. I think there's a silver lining to it where, we see it on Saturday nights where both Port and Lincoln get 30 plus 410 sprint cars on every Saturday night. So they make it work weekly. It's, the Sunday's a little questionable, but on a holiday weekend, I had a great time at Selinsgrove. There's a lot of good people there. Brian Brown I don't have the exact quote because I was on the backstretch. I couldn't really hear exactly because there wasn't speakers back there, but I could hear the crowd after he went quick time. He said something to the tune about Lincoln running and people still being there for Selinsgrove, and the crowd went nuts. Like you could hear it. It was very, very loud. It was really cool. So it was cool for Brian to be there. You started seeing some of those cars that chose Selinsgrove over Lincoln, and I think it worked out for both. But it just depends on how the tracks look at that. Was the time and money that they invested enough of a return, I guess you could say. But yeah, I was happy for I was happy for Selinsgrove having a. I was a little worried when you first saw Dirt Classic was going to be on that Sunday, and you're like, oh man, Selinsgrove is gonna, get like 18 cars, but they got 25.
Right. Momentum going into this weekend. Jim Nace Memorial.
Yeah,
National Open.
we'll get into that. Tony Sharp says the rumor mill told me Parrish moved the date of the Classic to pull away from the other tracks, which is a dick move. Which, if that's the truth, then that's a dick move, man. I mean, just how are you going to work together? You know what I mean? For me, I think it would be like, listen, if they want to take that whole weekend and make the Dirt Classic something, for me, I say, because they have that Dirt Classic qualifier race, and what they had it out, was it Fremont or some shit? They had it out in Ohio somewhere. They used to do the qualifier race at Williamsgrove. Why not give Selinsgrove a qualifier race, or a couple weeks before, so they can maybe pull in some cars and pull in some people, and then, all right, you want to take that Sunday date now? Well, now you're working together. That's just my opinion. I say leave Selinsgrove have that Sunday date because that's how it's always been. Smeal says it doesn't hurt when his co-owner no longer had any part in Selinsgrove and they don't have to worry about competing. I guess so, but I mean, there's still I still think there's a common courtesy between these tracks that has been there for a long time. That's why all these tracks have been able to thrive, and it seems like it's going away a little bit. It's becoming more of a competition. If that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's going to be. Everybody's going to support their own track for their own reasons.
Right. And that's how racing should be. Everyone does your thing, cheers for your people. We all talk about it every Monday. And racetrack owners, though, should not consciously go out and be a dick to another racetrack.
If it's like, oh, we literally want to go and compete and take, then
it's tough.
Especially for somewhere like Selinsgrove, they get like 7-8 races a year. Half of them get rained out half the time, and it's all because it's on a Sunday, and it's hard enough. But he told us in the office at the beginning of the year that he made the icebreaker 2 days to completely block that weekend from port. I get it. You're trying to make money, but good for you then. Good for you then that you got only 5 more cars than Selinsgrove.
I don't know where you want to go with this, but this goes to the promotion. So we talked about BAPS and their promotional team and everything that Tony does with them to promote their events. Port is right there with them and their promotion and their effort into events. And Port still has flow because it doesn't hurt their attendance.
Nope.
Just saying.
Yep. Maybe I'm thinking. See, I don't think it's anything to do with Selinsgrove. I think because Dirt Classic was on flow, that's why attendance hurt. Flow is killing attendance.
You can't even say it with a straight face. Way to go, Tony. I'm all riled up now. What's next? Monday?
I'm not done with this topic yet.
Okay.
I'm not done with this topic yet. Well, something that Selinsgrove did do was if you pre-registered, you got a free pit pass. So all the drivers got free.
What do we call that?
Sounds like something like promotion. You're not just promoting the fans. You got to promote to these teams, and that's what they did.
I did like that, by the way. Add that to the things that Selinsgrove has done this year.
I know they've had some hit or miss. I know, there's about the way their payment system and everything has gone so far. I know there's been some rumors about that, rumors or whatever you want, rumblings. But I think overall, like they've been
right. I mean,
they're learning, because they're new at this. But
the tiered pit pass thing, that was interesting. And I think more tracks are probably going to go that route if they can.
And they had three divisions: limited late models, super late models, and 410s, and there's full fields in all of them. I think the super late models had only 23, or limited only had 23. Another one had 25. 410s had 25, and they started all of them. They started everybody. So, Steph says, "Wait, might be a dumb question, but drivers have to pay for pit pass even though they are racing." Yes, everybody that's
light off.
Yeah.
Not only owners, the drivers, the crew guys, anyone.
Yeah, everybody's got to pay for a pit pass. Maybe some people get comped, but for the most part, everybody that's in those pits have to pay. That's how the purses come about. It's kind of basically how it works. Part of it at least.
Right, and somewhere if you're looking at the Lincoln comparison, compared to say Williams Grove. Usually it's like pit pass is $10 more than whatever general admission is. Lincoln seems to do it. If they take 5 off of general, they add it to the pit pass cost. Ports just kind of runs consistently higher.
At Lincoln, if you run every race in 358 or 410, you get your pass free for the following year, driver only. Well, that's cool. See, that's something good.
That they should
That's something
promote.
I didn't know. That's a plus for Lincoln. That's something good. But you got to run every race. You miss one race, you're not
And they
getting
run
in there.
every single week.
And they run every weekend, then some. But yeah, so it is what it is. I at the end of the day, I want to see it work for both of them. I wish maybe they could figure something out there. But I'm not gonna lie, I had a little bit of a smirk on my face when I saw that Lincoln got 30 and Williams and Selinsgrove got 25, and it sounded about probably the attendance was about the same. So I think Lincoln probably had a little bit more, but they always get more. Selinsgrove only holds so many people, but I'm glad it just generally worked out for both. But okay, we'll move on. We'll move on to Monday, Labor Day Classic. It was hot. It was hot. It was like 100 degrees.
I was not there.
No, you weren't. I was there.
Well.
I was dying. I loved Labor Day Classic, though. Track blew off real quick. Obviously, I mean, you're baking in the sun. I thought they did a really good job with the track. It didn't rubber until halfway through the 410 feature, and then it was just locked down on the bottom. But it was a pretty good race. Dylan Cisney won. Very, very popular win.
Right.
He ran really well.
The weird stat I heard this week was that was the first repeat winner not named Devin Borden this year, because he won opener and there.
Sounds about right.
So that's interesting. Mike Walter had a hell of a run going, got cut short. It happens sometimes. Big time auto racing.
We had Wingless Sportsman there. Our boy Brett Perigo was running. He was up in about the top 10, and then he had a tire blow. He was running about 7th, I think. He was holding off Tony Jackson. They were having a hell of a battle trying to get through other cars, and Brett was trying to really hold off Tony. Wasn't a lot of passing to be had because it was after the 410 feature. It was all locked down rubber on the bottom. When it's hot, like I just, a lot of people are complaining. There's only so much you can do when it's that hot unless you want to, rework the track every couple heat races. You know what I mean? Amp Bay was there with Kyle Spence. That was cool to see. But he was there. They had, how many did they have? They had quite a bit.
I want
to say like 34 410s.
It was something like that.
It was pretty close to that, which was a lot more than I was expecting for a hot Labor Day race. But you had a lot of the all-stars come in. Some of there's 30s. Thanks, Smil. They had a lot of some of the all-stars come in, getting ready for the week, for the Tuscarora week that ended up not being what we wanted it to be. But
I believe Trent Yoder won that wingless race.
Yeah, Trent Yoder won. He was very emotional
That was his second win of the weekend. He won at Path Valley Saturday, I believe. So yeah, good for him. Congratulations.
And he was pretty emotional on the mic after he won. It was cool to see that. And then the 4-cylinders were a good race. They started all 36. I love watching those Labor Day. They're a good Labor Day support class.
Because you like Bloomsburg. So
yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of them from Danville here. Actually, I think one of them, the Campbell is from here where I'm at. He ended up dominating, led all the laps and won. But it was good.
Almost perfect segue.
And then there was go-karts after.
Yeah,
and I didn't stay for that. It was just so hot at that point. I was going home. TJ Shooters.
So from there we go to Tuscany. We've all caught up.
Yeah, we're all caught up from Labor Day. We'll go into Tusky. We camped there Thursday through Saturday. We all left Saturday after we got dumped on. Thursday. Actually,
Seriously.
hold on. Let's go back to Labor Day Classic quick because Alex brought up something about Mike Walter, which this was a bummer. He was running well. Was he leading? Or he just lost the lead, I think.
Right, Sissy stuck through.
Yeah, Sissy stuck through. Walter missed the corner in turn 1. Macri got around him on the outside, coming out of 2, going down in 3, and just absolutely chopped the shit out of him. There's no way around it. He just absolutely chopped the shit out of him. Walter goes spinning, destroys his car. They're done for the year, which is sad to see because he's been so close to a win there from the end of last year through this year. He's been very, very close. I really felt like Monday was going to be his day. And they were upset with Macri, and I don't think anybody could blame him. I mean, Macri just absolutely chopped him. Like brother, maybe.
But
I don't know.
Felt bad enough to buy his shirt when I saw this trailer there. Bought a shirt.
Yeah.
It's a nice shirt.
They were all fighting for the bottom at that point, so I understand it. Smeal says racing deal. I say chop the shit out of him. He left Walter with nowhere to go. Like Walter wouldn't have been able.
Yeah, at least
if he would have left him some room to be able to at least go up around him or like give him time to back off. It was just so sudden, you know. And I'm not saying that Macri did it maliciously or anything. You maybe just caught grip or something. I don't know. I'm not a race car driver, but he didn't leave Walter any choice but to spin and wreck his shit. He gave him no. Even he wouldn't been able to get on the brakes quick enough. I think him getting on the brakes is actually what spun him out. So I don't know, but that was a bummer to see. But it was cool to see Dylan Cisney win. So let's go back into Tusky. Thursday we had some rain mid-afternoon, like 2:30, 3 o'clock. It stopped. Thought, all right, sun's coming out. We're gonna go racing. You guys get there. You start setting up. We're looking. You know, I got my band. I went into the pits. I saw everybody was starting to cars. You know, they pushed everything back about half hour, 45 minutes to let cars get in and you know and to start working on the track. And I guess it was just too much rain, and it was really humid. It was really sticky. It was pretty foggy all night, like hazy. Yes, Tusky was depressing. We had a good time regardless, but you know, it was a bummer to only get one race, and that one race was great, which we'll go into here in a second.
We just interrupt this racing podcast to talk about the Jets gonna jet.
No, I don't care.
Aaron Rodgers to the locker room.
Huh?
Aaron Rodgers to the locker room. Ankle. Love to see it as a Patriots fan.
Anyway,
carry on.
I mean, that's the only thing you have your hat to hang on for the Patriots.
I hate the Jets. Anyway.
How did those Patriots do yesterday? Since you want to change the subject to football.
They almost exposed you guys. Whatever.
Go Birds. Anyway, all right, let's go back into Thursday.
I get it.
I thought that they could race, but the track was just too far gone. It was too humid out.
And there was rain. You could see the rain coming all night.
But it never actually came.
Just broke apart.
Which
we were hoping for every night.
Yeah. And listen, if you're going to cancel a night, let it be Thursday night. You know, Friday, Saturday, you want to try to push and get in. Which Friday they did, and they got it all in, which was great. It was kind of cool, though, because like we were there, and then you go down to the fair after it got canceled, you know, and you see all the teams and the drivers and everybody going to get food and having a good time. So that was cool, you know.
Yeah, it was cool.
I thought everybody was having a great time.
Yeah, we had a good time. Friday was good.
Friday was great. Friday we got it in. There was a little bit of rain. It was very light, though. Early on, and we're like, all right, we're racing, and we got a great show in. Tyler Courtney with the win.
If you were watching on Flow, you get to hear the greatest Earl Hoon call ever. And
oh wait, this one.
Oh baby, things are getting good. Can Wentz take that spot away now?
That's going in the Hall of Fame of calls right there. I love that call. I love that call. It was Lance coming around Logan Wagner with like 2 or 3 to go. It was great, awesome. It was just, you could tell they were all real. Him and Blake were just so amped up in the. They were just amped up in the booth, and
that's what you love to see. Just raw
it was just
passion.
Good racing all night. Super Late Models had a pretty good race. Trevor Feathers won. That was their last points race of the year. Rick Eckert comes down with the track title. Devin Borden also clinched the Port Royal track title. So congratulations to both of them. Very well earned.
That's Eckert's first track championships at 1982 or something. At
Bedford.
Well,
he doesn't usually
right, because he went out and just did his own thing for all those years. But it's just like crazy to think about.
But for them to get a guy like Rick Eckert to run there every week,
and Rick Eckert still being on top of his game, obviously.
Yeah, and they got a lot of cars there every week. This shows that they really got something there with the late models there. And I know we say about it all the time.
31 years.
It's like the only place I want to watch late models at is Port Royal. I don't want to watch them anywhere else.
Baps ruined me that night there because they're actually fun to watch there too. Are we getting
late models aren't bad. I'm warming up to them over the years here.
See, when Jeremy's not here, we go rogue. Start talking about late models.
But yeah. 1992 at Bedford. You'll love late models at Eldora, which we'll talk about here in a second. I guess really Tyler could just tell us about what he saw there. I only watched highlights of the World 100 at Eldora.
I saw some tire issues. Right front tire issues is what I heard. Hudson O'Neal wins the World 100. First one.
Hudson O'Neal, which he was just banging that top up there.
First one for
got around
Rocket
Davenport.
Chassis, I believe. I heard. And first Hoosier. Which is kind of crazy. This is the first win for a Hoosier, like Indiana native.
You know? Oh, I thought you meant the tire. I'm like, what?
No, they win all of them. They own everything, idiot. And then, but it was Rocket Chassis, first win for them, for their house car. Something like that. It was important.
I don't know. Maybe Tyler could let us know there.
It sounded important.
Or Smeal. I know Smeal's locked into the late model world too, as well. And Alex Robinson. Announcer at Bridgeport, maybe announcing at Selinsgrove. I don't know. I don't want to give that one up.
In any case, yeah, I mean that's all we're not experts on the.
Yeah, we're not on the
experts on anything.
But
definitely
I watched the highlights. It sounded awesome. Hudson O'Neal just was ripping that top around Davenport. Him and Davenport had a really good battle for the win. There's a late race caution. It was a Strickler had a tire go down with like 3 to go. Right as he was about to come get the white flag, and they had a green-white checkered, and he was able to hold him off.
Yes, late model fans did go off about Hoosier both ends, the state and the tire. It was wild. We got dumped on, absolutely dumped on.
Tyler says, who was there at the World 100? Atmosphere was amazing. I'll compare it to Knoxville for atmosphere. Rocket House Cars' first World 100 win. 102 cars. Strickler ran out of fuel. He didn't pop a tire, but he ran out of fuel right at the end. Yeah, it looked good. That packed house. I mean, I thought I saw somebody there. I can't remember who. Somebody on social media. Maybe somebody knows. I can't remember exactly who, but they said, "I'll take World 100 over." Kings Royal any day. And they were like a sprint car guy.
Was it Wikipedia? Was he there?
I don't know if it was Wikipedia. No, Wikipedia I think was.
He was out Gold Cup. Out that other place you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
No, I mean I've heard that from other people that go for their big late model events. It's the place to be.
Yeah. 10 pop tires probably cost Bobby Pierce a World 100 win. Huge crowd. Paul McMahon said that.
He's pretty big sprint.
Steph says, I don't understand why the tire rules won't change when so many drivers and teams complain about them.
I heard a really good point though.
It's all about this. All about
dirt
the
tracker. Yeah, but it would actually cost the teams more if they opened it up at that level. Because you're going to have all the sets of tires there to see which one's the best that night.
Cameron, thank you, Ashley. Cameron Sage. That's who said it.
Like, I get the open tire rules, the easy thing, but when Justin Fiedler was saying that, it made a lot more sense to me. Because they think about, even Brett talks about, Brett Perigo, he'll have his American racers, but they don't have a tire rule for wingless sportsmen. He just buys whatever he can and
He doesn't
figures them out.
even. He doesn't even buy them. He just goes.
He's running
and,
Goodyears.
listen,
from
as
Silver
somebody
Spring
who has
Speedway.
been to the Perigo shop, it's just there's like a corner up in the top that is just a bunch of old tires from over the years, and he just goes in and pulls whatever looks good.
Right.
And they probably have some of those tires. He won on a tire that like his dad won on at Silver Spring. You know what I mean? Like, just
Right.
So just talking about how the comparison to the series there.
Different things. Like, it sounds easy to just open up tire rule. I don't know how easy. And there's that. So then you had to open it up, and it can make deals.
Yeah. So Tyler says World Racer Group wouldn't let American Racer in for the World 100. There'd be 200 cars there if American Racers were allowed. And then Ant Bay says open tire rule brings back the tire deals for the drivers, save tires and teams money in the long run, actually.
But
and
they have to be faster than the other one. I don't know how you police it. Do you just go speed?
People would get. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you would have kind of like how.
Well, I get like Hoosier signs.
Hoosier signs, Brad Sweet, and then or American Hoosier or American Hoosier. American Racer signs Brad Sweet, and then Carson Macedo signs with Hoosier. And,
right, I get it.
It becomes a big, instead of like a manufacturer battle, it becomes.
But what happens when
a tire battle?
The Hoosier is kicking the American Racer's ass, or vice versa. That just like the NASCAR, you don't. I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, I'm
torn. I think freedom of choice where you buy tires is a smarter thing than a locked in Hoosier. Sure.
Good, because you only get one price.
Right.
You get one price, you get one product, and if that product's shit, then oh well.
Right. I guess
they don't have any there's no repercussions.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't know. Yeah. I guess you're right. Maybe I don't know. These are for smart people. We're not the smart ones.
That's the Pepsi Coke debate. Same, but different. Right. So
is that so? We hit that one. So go.
Tyler also says, I've never seen so many campers in my life at Eldora camping area. It was completely sold out. They actually ran out of car parking spots at 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. I hear about the famed Eldora campgrounds, and I would like to get there one day as somebody who likes to camp myself at racetracks, just to be a complete degenerate.
I feel I'm running out of lives to be a degenerate in. So going from that, we go back to another question we had from before the show. Back to Tuscarora 50. Spiel brought up the fact about moving it up.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He brought up moving up the start time. I saw Justin put his post out, Justin Snyder. Brent goes, we talked about moving it up. Why didn't we? Well, we're kind of a Smeal's point. If they move that race up and run it at noon, that's going to be the worst Tuscarora 50 we ever watched.
Yeah.
It's going to rubber right down.
What I didn't understand, and I'm sure there's reasons for it, was that if Friday, my understanding from reading some stuff was that if Friday would have rained out, they would have ran a doubleheader on Saturday and moved it up and ran the 50 first, which then if they would have started at noon or 1 o'clock, they would have gotten it in. But since they got Friday night in, they didn't move. They only moved it up an hour. When really, if they would have started at 1 o'clock, they probably got it in. However, it would have been Labor Day Classic all over again, probably on steroids because you had more cars and 50 laps.
Right.
So
they would have had to have a tire change halfway through.
You would have probably ran the risk of
getting flushed out,
getting dumped on lap number 5. So I think they made the right call on just try to move it up a little bit. They were trying to accelerate it through. They got through time trials on Saturday, and then it just.
You saw it build.
I started
so quick
during time trials. I was looking over turn 3. I'm like, it's raining out there, but everything else looks good. But it was like raining way out in the mountains out there. And then towards the end, I see over turn 1, and it's like it's getting black. And I'm looking, and I'm like, I'm gonna pack up my chair just in case I got to run out of here. And right as they were turning Dylan Sisney around as the last car, because he almost ran into I think it was Millard he almost ran into during time trials. So he got another lap. I started hearing thunder. I'm like, I'm out. And it started raining on my way back, and just enough for me not to get dumped on. And but the water in the tunnel was knee high.
Yep.
It dumped. I mean, it was pretty bad.
I was very dry because I stayed out in the campground.
Yeah, you
And
guys waited to come
packed.
in, which was probably the smart thing.
And we were getting ready, and I saw the mountain disappear, and I'm like, no, I've seen this before. I'm staying here. Like, yeah, see, Kim knows. The four of us were sitting up there, and we're like, yeah, all right, we'll start switching the coolers around, give everything, walk in. And I looked, I was like, now they're both gone. Absolutely not. I am not leaving this canopy.
And I came back, and you were just playing. You belong to the city for the 18th time for the weekend, or the 100th time for the weekend.
What else are you gonna do when it's pouring down raining all weekend? So that's
so the question now is, when does it get made up? And there's a lot of speculation out there, and a lot of armchair promoters out there that I'm saying what they should do. A lot of the consensus is just run it during the Outlaw weekend. However, you want to be loyal to the All-Stars. You want to give the All-Stars a chance to be able to run this. The problem is you're going to have to run it on like a Thursday or a Sunday.
That's your options.
That's your options. I mean, you're not going to want to run it on a Wednesday or a Monday, or
you
can't run it on a Tuesday because you got high limit at Lernerville.
Like, who had that comment in the thing? I wish I had the gentleman's name memorized. He's talking about running it what weekend. If you're trying for Saturdays,
so I'm gonna read Tim Anderson's comment here. It's a little bit of a long one, but stay with me here. He makes some pretty good points here. He said, "What is the perfect date to reschedule Tuscarora 50? I definitely want the Tuscarora 50 to remain All-Star sanction," which I agree to as much as you can, you know. But what date will suit the All-Stars and that you're not interfering with the other local tracks? The All-Stars are at Fremont this coming weekend, and then the next weekend they close out the season at Eldora during 4 Crown. September 30th weekend is the National Open, so you can't run it then. And then October 7th is the World of Outlaws at Port Royal. October 14th is the Short Track Super Series Modified race. I don't think you can really run it then. October 21st, the Blue Collar Series, 305s at Port. Now you're starting to get late in the race, in the season there. But Bridgeport also has a big 410 race the last weekend of October. Seems like all the remainder of the season is about maxed out. Again, I want the Tuscarora 50 to be All-Star sanctioned, but I feel the best date would be run a 3-day weekend when the Outlaws are in town. Run the 50 on that Thursday, All-Star sanction, and then you got the 2 days for the Outlaws. You get a lot of cars, for 3 days. I kind of like that idea. Chris disappeared on me as I was reading that. I think I personally want to see that Thursday before Natty and make that a 3-day thing. I'm saying that selfishly because I already took off for National Open. Outlaws can't run it anyway, but you want to try to bring back at least the All-Stars that can come back. I think making them go back and forth from Port Royal to Eldora, just to go back to Lernerville to come back, is a little, it's not terribly far, but that's a lot for some of these teams. And I think you start losing cars there if you do it that way. But you kind of have to shoot your shots where you got them. Maybe the Sunday after 4 Crown is an option. But you're going to have teams that are going to have to hustle, and then you're also running it on a Sunday. I don't know.
Competitive. That's something that Tim mentioned too, though, was the Sterner. Like Tyler said, Eldora to Port is quite a hike. So I know that Outlaws run their Friday for 4 Crowns, so the All-Stars don't necessarily have to be there for Friday. So you do get that Friday travel day. I know Chris wants them the All-Stars to stay to run run Williamsgrove, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see any reason why they would do that. I tried to pitch my argument.
But yeah, I think the Thursday before National Open, I think that's the perfect date for fans, for teams. I just think it makes sense because then you don't have teams going all over. You're not going to get any outlaws. They're all going to use up all their stuff, all their dates.
The smart ass answer was the perfect date was last Saturday, and that's why they scheduled that way, and it fits everyone's schedule. And it's not going to happen. So with that rain, I don't know. I think you're right. It has to be a Thursday or Sunday, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think
the outlaw date, which
I think what they were trying. I think what they want to do is they want to try to get this in before the outlaws are there, because you need to have time. Because if you do get more weather where it gets canceled again, which happened back when it was the outlaw race, that was the 50. It just kept getting canceled. I think the Thursday before Four Crowns a little advantageous, or it's a little ambitious, I should say. Not ambitious.
Amoeba.
I think it's a little ambitious, just to expect teams to go back and forth, because there's even though the All-Stars don't technically race till Saturday, there's teams there that are going to run Friday at Eldora if they can, if not all of them.
And that's two questions there. I don't know many of our tracks that have postponed to the following year. I know Eldora did that with the Kings Royal after COVID and stuff. Just was a little bit different because there was nobody there, and I don't know how that would have went for them.
There was
points. It's easy enough thing to do for the All-Stars, I would think, if the teams sign off on that.
Yeah, maybe not do it. Maybe not do it points. Yeah. So and you got to think that week at Natty. So I think the Tuesday before is Lernerville. Then you would have Tuscarora Thursday, 2 nights at Natty, and then you have Bridgeport High Limit the following Tuesday. So they got a lot of races, a lot of money,
maybe that's
ton of money up for grabs. That's
maybe
what I'm saying.
That is the way to do it.
You screw a month of money, you got a week of money right there.
Because even
just in 7 days,
rain date,
it's that's probably $300,000 up for
and
grabs.
make a deal with Selinsgrove, because you kind of owe you for last year anyway with the National Open. Make Sunday your rain date, and if they don't use it, you can use it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You start getting creative here.
Selinsgrove or Port Royal
solid for
did move their Blue Collar Classic last year to let National Open be able to move their date when they got rained out last year. And that's the thing, you don't know what weather's going to be. So you don't do you really want to try to push this all the way out till mid to late October when you know weather's going to get bad?
The only crazy sons of bitches that promote a race in the middle of November is Babs. God love them for it. That November 11th race.
Yeah.
That's massive.
I mean, they're taking a shot. But for them, if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. You're not going to push that back anymore. I don't think.
Christmas special.
If you're going to try to push that back to Christmas.
Every Saturday, you wait till a 70-degree Pennsylvania day.
Then you just run icebreaker.
That'd be ironic. I'm really glad that Port's not going to try to dick around with Lincoln, though, with the Sterner, because I know Capetta's actually putting a lot of work in that. I saw the day 4 to 5 o'clock that day, open free pits for everyone to go in and do stuff. I like that idea. I love that.
Yeah.
Just want to get that mentioned while it was there. Right, you can't go to first week in November World Finals.
Right, and I just think that Thursday, I could see them trying the Thursday before or the Sunday of Four Crown, which is 2 weeks, not this weekend, but next weekend. I think if you do it the Thursday of the Natty, though, you're giving people enough time. You still have a little bit of room if it does get rained, and you're gonna have a ton of Thanksgiving Thursday. I like that idea. I would be there. Screw Thanksgiving dinner.
I got nothing else to do.
You don't need Thanksgiving dinner. Just have the church stand open up. Do turkey dinners. There you go. Perfect.
Boom. Done.
Boom. I could be a promoter.
No, you can't. Go back to whatever social media you came from. I think
we got a couple.
Go ahead.
We had another comment on this was why the Tusky shouldn't be scheduled against the Outlaws, importance of keeping money in PA, better racing, etc. And I think that I get that too. You want to try to keep the money here, and that's what I was trying to say before. Everybody just automatically assume because they did it once, just go and do the Outlaw date, However, you do want to, this is an all-star show.
It's their biggest show.
It's their biggest show. It's Port's biggest show. They work really well together. You want to try to at least give them another shot to get it in, before you just say, hey, we're just going to go with the Outlaws. Because then that's a slippery slope. Then it just ends up becoming an Outlaw show. And I don't know how much we actually want that.
Because that's going to move the date.
And it'll also move the date.
Because
you can't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it during fair then. So you want to try. You want to give the All-Stars a fair shot at getting at least another shot at getting this in that works in their schedule, works in Port's schedule. So you want to try to get these cars back, and
that's why I would say take every opportunity. Both those Thursdays.
Yeah,
I don't know. Both those Sunday. I don't know. That's the other part. That's just the borough.
Right.
There's a school there,
and that's I agree there. Doug says running Port on Thursday before Natty, would that work out with the borough school on Friday morning, for example? I mean, I think whatever Thursday you run, there's definitely a curfew there, but I think for their biggest race, they'd be willing to pay whatever fines that there might be, because that's what usually happens.
You have to get that money back somehow.
Yeah.
Try to anyway.
So there isn't a perfect answer.
It already happened. Like I said, I think the perfect answer is when they originally scheduled. Solved all this.
Yeah. Is it any different than actual Fair Week? It is.
Yeah, the fair.
It is different because Fair Week. Yeah.
And
schools sometimes make up days to take off, so you can make it Tusky 50 race day off school on Friday. Fair Week, there's no curfew. I can, there's a track by me that used to race that has no rules and curfews and noise ordinances.
I mean, the Juniata
during Fair
School
Week
District let out at 1 o'clock Friday just to avoid traffic.
Bloomsburg here, the entire school district is shut down all week for Fair Week because so many people work the fair and are there, and it's because it's so big and it takes up so much of the town. They completely shut their schools down.
It's pretty cool
for the entire week. So I'm kind of surprised that Tuscarora doesn't do that either, but whatever. It's not as big either. It's not as big of a fair. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a perfect answer here. But my vote, if I had a vote into it, would be Thursday of Natty. I think that would make a great week, especially if you got to get the weather to work out. And then, and then maybe, if Thursday doesn't work out and then Natty gets in on Saturday, then you try to do Sunday. I don't know what else you got.
I definitely wouldn't want to be Port.
Just let Port deal with this decision. Yeah.
God bless Stephen Neal and
Justice
Center and
they do not have an easy decision here.
And they're hardworking as hell and the nicest guys,
and they're trying to please everybody and make it work for everybody, and they're doing a great job. So they do a thing called promotion.
Such good guys. What's next? We got preview stuff.
Yeah, we'll preview here this upcoming weekend. Doug says, I'm sure the mayor would pull some strings for the curfew. There, that's true.
Maybe.
And Tony says we have to promote it. Cheryl asks, "What's your opinion on the lack of fans that show up at dirt racing in PA?" I don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be. Maybe it's not what it used to be, not weekly. But
I honestly, if I'm being at Williamsburg every week, up until 2 weeks ago, I didn't notice this problem.
Yeah,
but that's compared. I thought there was more people there than last year for weekly regular shows.
If you're expecting the stands to be absolutely jam-packed to the gills for a weekly race, that's never going to happen. I don't think it ever has happened. Maybe, people will talk about the good old days that maybe it did, maybe it did. I don't know. But I
just like NASCAR. Like, I don't know. People have so much going on now. Like sure, the money's going up, but the money has to go up so the teams can make more money. It's like, it's unfortunately how it works. There's just so much going on now, and there's so many races. There's so many options.
There's so many
reasons to go to other places and do different things,
or also reasons to not go anywhere, to not leave your house. You know what I mean? And not flow racing, and that's not what I'm talking about.
I will say, though, Lincoln, my opinion, is the other way. Because it used to be like you went to Lincoln and it always felt there was more people there. This year it hasn't felt that way, but I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I've
been to more Lincoln this year.
Here's what I think Lincoln's problem is that they race too goddamn much. They race every week, even when there's other stuff going on. Like they were going to race Saturday. They canceled it, but they still had a race scheduled on Saturday during Tuscarora 50. Now, it wasn't 410 sprint cars, but they still had a race. I mean, hey, teach their own, I guess. But I think, what's so special about going when you could just go, you know what I mean? Like,
right. And I'm the same way, Steph, with Williams Grove. I'm going no matter what. Like, I live 5 minutes away.
Ashley Capetta says, this year has been the worst it's been during weekly shows, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone to many Lincoln weekly shows. Chris, you went more than I did.
Right, and that's why I agree with that. At Lincoln, I agree, but at Williams Grove, it feels not that way. I feel like last year, you would see 16 cars and 16 people. Only once I feel that way this year, Williams Grove.
Yeah, Williams Grove has been pretty good. I've been honestly surprised with them. Port's been iffy, but I mean, I think weather has something to do with it too. Weather's been very iffy. Think about it,
we looked at Tuscarora 50. We were sitting there, and we were there last year, and it was like lines by 1-2 o'clock Saturday.
It really filled in by the time it rained, though. It really packed in by the time it rained. Yeah. Well, they also moved the show up.
I don't know. It was just weird.
And weather probably kept some people away as well. I thought they still had a good turnout. Granted with the weather, I was actually surprised with how many people were actually there, with how hot it was and weather coming. Ashley says, especially at Lincoln, every race we run, I pay a lot of attention to the fans. My merch deal shows it also. So there you go. Even though we are having a tough year, we have in the past two and haven't had the sale decrease like this year, and that's partially because of people not going to the track.
Yeah.
I know Jeremy would say it's a Lincoln issue. I feel like that's what Jeremy would say, and I would agree.
But I think it's also a little bit bigger than the Lincoln issue.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think you get that everywhere. Like I think it's generally anywhere.
Steph, sit in the infield. Don't go to Beer Hill places. That's an experience.
I'm scared to go to. Steph says I'm scared to go to Williams Grove. We went when the Outlaws were there. I think sat on Beer Hill. I got a black eye due to a huge piece of clay hitting me. Maybe are you sure it wasn't a beer can?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wild place up here.
Yeah, infield's better. I can't wait. I can't wait for Natty to get that going again. Beer Hill sucks.
At this point, it's so crowded there now. They do it anytime there's a delay.
Which sure, it's been a lot of them there because anything crazy has happened at Williams Grove this year. Tyler replying to Ashley here. Here's my opinion on fan count. There's way too many options for people nowadays. I also think people are tight with money, which is very true. It's expensive. I would love to see the days of $10 general admission and $25 pit passes. Silver Springs was $9 general admission during the last year it operated, and pit passes were $15 packed every week. I get it, but everything's more expensive now. Like, it's just, I can't blame the tracks for raising their prices at all. I can't.
Can't say tracks raise your purses and not raise the prices. They
can't just foot that bill. They gotta make it back somewhere. So I'm fine with paying $20 to get $25 to get into a race personally.
Right.
It's not necessarily keeping me away from going to a track. Me, it's the drive. I don't go to Lincoln because it's the furthest track away from me, and I'm not gonna. I mean, I was still there 3 or 4 times this year, but I'm not going there as often as I'm going to Port, which is only about an hour away from me. Selinsgrove, which is a little bit less than a half an hour. Even Williams Grove is like an hour 15 for me. I'd go there more on a Friday night.
It's just you want to see me. That's all.
I don't think streaming has anything to do with it. I think it only has anything to do with it when the weather is iffy. If the weather looks like it did this past week, yeah, I can see some people saying, I'm just going to stay home and watch it. But I think at the end of the day, if you're having a good, there's a big difference from being at the track, having a good time watching it, and then just watching it at home. There's a whole experience you get at the track. That's what keeps people going there. So maybe part of that is people don't feel like the experience at the track is worth it anymore. It's not always about just watching the race.
Right.
It's and knowing who won and cheering on their driver. There's a whole experience that goes along with it. And I think that's changed a little bit with social media and all that. And we could go down that whole rabbit hole another time. But
Sure. And to think about it, Steph, same thing. She stays all night. They watch every car
yeah,
race, and then the pits, and that's great. I could see why you did the 4 if you have a 2-hour drive like Jimmy does, or driving. You went there to see the 410s. I try to stay for 358s, but there's I know that night at Sportsman 100 it was already 11 o'clock. I went out with the team, and it's like I'm not gonna stay for two things I don't know anything about. I get it. I mean, I already had hit my value of what I was there for, so I was like, take the money. I'm not getting a discount for not watching it. So it's kind of just when you hit your value and what you're there for.
yeah. Tyler says, and this is something that when we had Justin Snyder on, which we should probably repost that interview that we had with Justin Snyder over the winter because it was very informative to us. It was great. He was really transparent about a lot of things about promoting. But Tyler says you got to make more races, events, and yeah, Eldora has 3-day race days, but it's packed because it's an event. We need more events and less races. I think that's something that Port Royal does well. It goes beyond just saying, hey, it's X Memorial and we're paying an extra $1,000. It goes beyond that, making it an event.
Doing like what Ashley's doing with opening the pits for an hour to let all the fans in for free.
Just because the race has a name doesn't mean it's an event. You got to do something to make it that event, and that doesn't just mean, hey, pay the winner an extra $1,000. You got to do something for the fans to make it feel like it's an event. It's not easy. I don't envy promoters that try to make every week an event. Maybe you do race a little less then. Maybe you take a week off every month. Maybe. I don't know.
And everyone's so sad that week.
But you have other options to go to then. Maybe that's when you work with a track like Selinsgrove and don't try to crush their date.
Well, I think it was kind of cool. Right. Firefighter races, the event. Yeah. Those kind of things make it something.
Do a different format. Do some giveaways to the fans, just
or like everyone takes.
I know. One thing I think
Clinton County steps in and they do their events those weekends.
Yeah,
we went there because
they don't have as many. There's giveaways that you could do the autographs with the drivers, which I think is good. Lincoln does that a lot. Williamsgrove does that a lot. Port Royal as well. But almost a lot of tracks really do that a lot. But it's hard. What's going to get fans out to make it an event? For me, I think it goes beyond saying, hey, it's X Memorial race and we're going to pay $1,000 more or $2,000 more. You got to do something to make it unique, make it feel like an event, not just some type of weekly race.
There's that too from Doug. Gotta get these races over earlier these days.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lincoln has done a really good job this year.
They've made a focused effort. Just like Justin and Port has with getting their stuff done, is getting an effort 2-3 hours is the window before you start dragging it out too long. Somebody with analytics.
I think especially a track like Lincoln where they race so much. They race more than any track around here. I think at that point, you turn into a back gate track. Because there's other tracks. It's not just Lincoln that does it. It's some of these smaller tracks do it too that get the smaller divisions that run every Saturday night. They have weekly races, but it ends up all being back gate stuff. It's like back gate. You get a couple of your regular fans, and then you get their families, and that's really what makes the track. And that's fine. But I think when you're looking at these bigger tracks like Lincoln, Port Royal, Williamsgrove that get these sanctioning series and are getting the more expensive cars there every week, you got to step it up somehow. And it's not easy.
Yeah, we don't have a right answer. I mean, we'll try to find a Justin interview or try to get him back at some point because the season's wrapping up here in like 2 months for him. Maybe he'll come back on because there was a lot of insightful stuff from him.
Yeah, Ashley says, I want the fans involved as the fans are what make the event special. To me, empty stands don't make the event. Absolutely.
Right. And with that, most of our driver connections are built that same way. They were good to us.
Mhm.
Like, Billy Dietrich was so good to us, and hanging out with him. Even Danny interacting on Twitter, draws stuff to him. People love that stuff.
Do we think? All right, here's something, because now we're saying Lincoln's weekly attendance is now even worse than it was last year when they had Flow Racing there every week. Do you think them getting rid of Flow, has that somehow hurt it?
I don't know how it would have, but
I think it would have. Nobody gives a shit.
No, I don't.
Nobody's watching saying, you know what, I want to go there next week. I'm not doing anything.
Then maybe you could make that argument, but we talk about Freddie winning every week, so I don't think that's true.
It's Freddie Raymer's fault. It's Freddie Raymer's fault. That's why attendance is down. It's Freddie Raymer's fault because all he does is win.
No,
it's bullshit.
I don't know why he's.
How's it going to make it? How can you make it feel like an event when the same guy wins every week?
I think it's crazy watching him drive from 12th, though. They try damn hard to make sure he does it, and he still does. You gotta love it though. Like, it's every week, but they're supposed to be talking about. It's still Lincoln's being talked about, so I don't know what the answer is. I don't think it's streaming one way or the other, unless people are just that petty that they go, "Oh, they get rid of Flow Racing. I'm not going there." That's counterproductive, but
yeah, it is counterproductive. You'd rather give Flow the money than Lincoln.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's kind of weird. But I get the argument, like, if you lived not near Lincoln, if you're the opposite of, like, Steph talked about how far away it is for them to get the Port and Selinsgrove, I could see where Flow would be great. How many times we would be in the Port infield watching Flow, watching Lincoln?
Yeah.
Or
that's what I mean.
versa.
You're paying attention to both. Randy Kopp says, I prefer going the races with 2 divisions of the card. 3 divisions nights are too much. I agree with that.
I do. That's why I like Williamsgrove so much.
I'll give Williamsgrove some credit there.
But they have to. It's Friday night. So
yeah. Cheryl says, I know people who live minutes away from the Speedway. They won't go. They would rather sit at home on their chair and drink their beer and have their snacks because it's more convenient than get out and support the tracks and the concession stand. I mean, even if you go to the track, you bring your own chair, you bring your own beer, you bring your own snacks. You don't have to pay, but all you gotta do is pay to get in there. You can bring your own stuff. They're not gonna yell at you. Just don't bring it in a glass bottle.
Well, you're saying that's, but you want to watch streaming. Half Valley has 18 divisions, but they also don't usually have to run B mains and stuff. I don't know. Streaming, it's.
I don't think weather this year has helped as much as a track like Lincoln has run. Look how many rainouts Port Royal has had. There's nights that Lincoln has pushed through on nights where weather was iffy, and they got them in. That's great, but that probably affected attendance a little bit as well. Weather is, I think weather is the number one factor, to be honest. Weather and obviously people's financial situations.
Right. I mean, it really is. Streaming, I could see the argument.
I don't.
But
I don't anymore.
I don't know. I don't see enough. I just know my reaction is I quit streaming because I never watch it. If I'm not at the track, I'm not at home watching it 95% of the time because I'm doing something else. I don't know.
Jarek Havilet, shout out. When do you think Tuscarora will be rescheduled? We talked about this a little bit earlier. My vote is Thursday Natty Open weekend, but maybe 4 Crown weekend Thursday. They don't have very many options, but we're definitely all on the side, I think, of doing it before the Outlaws. I think that's kind of what we all kind of came to terms with. I think I'll try to find a date somewhere there. Tyler says, my Sundays consist of watching stuff on Flow and Dirt Vision that I miss by being somewhere Friday and Saturday.
That would be how I should use it. I just don't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know the right answer. I mean, how, other than getting people to make an event, do people that want to go to track whether you have streaming or not?
I think the only way to make things an event is by scarcity. When you're running from,
oh boy,
there's a few things. Billy Dietrich.
Isn't he on the way to the Bahamas? The last I saw.
Oh, maybe. There's a
Vacation,
few
Billy.
things they could do that wouldn't cost a dime to improve the racing. And if they improve the racing, maybe they would get more guys in. Sean Keane, what's up? And I'm kind of on the same boat with Smeal, where I think streaming helps, it doesn't hurt. But hey, I'm not the person that looks at I don't know the
we don't know
financial
the
deals that are in place there either. I just don't think it hurts attendance like they claim.
I think Billy's talking about promotion.
What's that word? That's a newfangled word that I just learned today.
The social media side can be done for free, basically.
See, I don't think Lincoln does a bad job of that.
Maybe not. But I don't.
Promotion.
You should just change the name of this thing to promotion. Yeah, no.
There's no easy fix. I will say that. There's no easy fix. There's no just snap of your finger. There are things that they can try that probably don't cost a lot of money. There's probably some things they could try that do cost some money. But they got to keep trying something.
And that's just Lincoln. That's everybody. Yes, like Justin talked about it. Like always trying to find a new thing, and you're gonna get burned sometimes doing something.
Yeah.
And maybe Lincoln, they did the dirt classic thing that maybe didn't go all the way they wanted it to go. Maybe gave it a flow they thought was the right answer.
Maybe you shouldn't go up against Selinsgrove's original date that they always had.
Salty.
I'm very salty about it still.
It's all right. What we got? Selinsgrove.
I'm getting saltier as the show goes on about it.
Right. Back to Selinsgrove.
Selinsgrove this weekend, their National Open, $26,000 Jim Nace Memorial to win. 410s on Saturday with super late models, I believe. And then you got Sunday. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll let you have your minute. By an hour on the same page.
360 and 358 National Open, which is that's also 26,000 to win. I gotta look. I know it's big money to win. It's 360, 358 Nationals with Wingless Sportsman, the rescheduled from the Speed Week race. They're back, and I think Street Stocks as well that night. Jam-packed weekend. Looking at the weather app, it looks great. Knock on wood. We're not going to deal with any rain. I really hope it's a great weekend for them. I think it's going to be a good turnout because is Lincoln running Saturday? I don't think it matters. Port's not running Saturday, though. So they should get quite a few 410s there. $26,000 to win, unsanctioned, straight from the track.
For sure. And do we talk about Friday night?
What's Friday night?
Billy Kimmel.
Oh.
And the 358, 360. So the Billy Kimmel.
The match race, yes.
Memorial, extra money added for the 358s. Forgot Brett Marks and the Ritter 35 for the Selinsgrove. Didn't see that coming.
The Monteith Classic on Saturday, 410s and 358s.
So that takes Freddie.
I think you get 30 plus cars at Selinsgrove. 20.
No, I'm laughing at Aunt Day's comment.
Oh.
Jimmy spends half hour talking about Lincoln racing too much and asking they race Saturday.
That's true. It's a good point. That was a dumb question. I just didn't know what they were racing. Brett Marks, to the Ritter 35, which Jason Schultz out of that car. That was also announced. So we had more silly season, man. I mean, you had Cam Smith and Jason Schultz out of rides. But Brett Marks going to be in that car for the 360 National Open on Sunday.
So
I think you're going to see guys. I mean, you might see a guy like Macri or Peck or somebody in that 20. Probably Peck because Peck's been running it this year. I think you'll see some 410 guys jump over to 360s. I got to find how much that is to win on Sunday.
When you do that, I will talk about Williams Grove. The 358 match race, nearly $21,000 purse. Pretty exciting stuff for the Billy Kimmel. We know a lot of guys that were close with Billy and stuff, so I appreciate a lot of support. I'm expecting a lot of support for that race. Plus, Ron Rutherford did a cool thing this week, promoting a lot of promotion. I saw today, ends up being a bunch of people jumped on, 22 families going for getting passes to be at that track on Friday, and free dinner and some merch from Danny and some other teams jumped in, Brett Strickler guys. So hope everyone comes out and joins that race. I intend on being there. Me and my daughter will be tearing up that infield. And Jimmy has his answer, I think.
Sorry. So, all right. I don't know how much it is to win for the 360, 358s on Sunday. It doesn't say, but it's 26,000 to win for the 410s. Saturday, 4 divisions, 410 sprint cars, super late models, road runners, and 305 sprints. So there's going to be like 150 fucking cars there.
You're going to be there all night.
I'm fine with that. I'm good with it. And then Sunday is 3 divisions: wingless sportsman, 358, 360 sprint cars, and limited late models. So good weekend for them. Good for the Billy Kilman Memorial on Friday. Should be a good 3 days of racing. Looks like good weather. 5,000 to win super lates at Selinsgrove. That's pretty good. I don't know what it is for the. I wish I knew. I thought I saw one somewhere that said.
I read their banner. I didn't see it either.
But you were talking about what Ron Rutherford is doing for Williamsgrove.
Yes.
Just want to shout out Karkland Racing is also doing the same thing for Selinsgrove. They're getting more partners. They have OIP Express. Selinsgrove is also in with it. Throttle Works. You could get 4 pet passes, 4 general admission. They have 4 different winners. You could get 2 pit passes, a pizza from OIP, 2 T-shirts, or 2 general admission passes, a pizza and a snack basket. So check out Karkland Racing. They are also doing something like that, and it seems like it keeps growing, which is great. This is something promotion, and it's had to come from not the racetrack,
which is. I mean, it's good to see.
I think that's a good sign, though. That's a good sign that people give a shit. It's a very good thing. We do got, as their fans, we got to do our part.
You got to show up.
You got to show up if you want to keep it going. Can't just bitch about them not promoting, which is part of it, but you got to do your part too. What else? Oh, Tyler says something big to come from Bedford Speedway. 15,000 to win UMP Modified Show on September 23rd. Hearing some big super late model drivers getting modified rides. That's interesting. Plus, getting quite a few guys coming out from the Midwest. Possibly Kenny Wallace might be coming to Bedford. We'll have to have our Bedford correspondent Andrew May let us know what's going on there. Maybe we'll have to send him there.
We'll send him there.
We'll send him there.
So
he'll walk down the street from his house. He literally lives right next door to the track. That's cool. That's something different. I think Alex Robinson was saying something about he has like a street stock race. It's like 15,000 or 10,000 to win or something like that. So Bridgeport's got some stuff coming up, some big races to close out the season. So yeah, I'll still, we're winding down here though. We're really getting to, track titles are being handed out, and regular shows are ending, and it's all becoming events now to end the season, and it's going to start getting colder. So get out while you can. Go out, support these tracks, support it while you can. There's not many left. Like Williamsgrove, they have 4 races left, four races left, and that's counting 2 days for the National Open.
Yep.
So get out and support these tracks while you still can before we're all stuck inside for the winter until we're going out and freezing our balls off for Icebreaker again in February.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
I won't watch that one on Flow unless they move it to a Thursday again.
Oh, don't worry. We will have you covered Mondays.
We will have you covered. We're looking at trying to get over this past winter. We did a lot of driver interviews. We try to do 2 a week. So keep it here tuned in during the winter. We're going to try to do that again.
We know,
maybe not just drivers. We'll probably try to get out, do some crew members. We've tried to get out maybe the sprint car world, talk to different people. We got some things in the works. Freedom 76 at Grandview paying $30,000 to win on Saturday, and Fonda is paying $50,000 this weekend. So a lot of big money. This is why
Everybody's just throwing the money out there.
Throwing the money around.
All right, are we wrapping this thing?
I think so. I want to thank everybody for checking us out. Hope everybody liked their pre-race show on Saturday for Tuscarora 50, even though we didn't get to see anything other than time trials. That was fun to do. We're going to try to do some stuff like that here more in the future as well.
Right, try to do some more stuff over the next few weeks. Try some things out, some shorter videos throughout the week to kind of update when Tuscarora 50 is updated. We will try to do something. So
yeah. As soon as we know that, we'll probably put something out, give our opinions on it, and hear what you guys have to say. As always, thanks everybody for in the chat. You know, these comments keep the conversation going. Get a lot of different point of views. We're just dumb sometimes and are one track minded.
Not come back. We will find it someday. Don't you worry.
If anybody finds a Turn 2 Terribles banner, it's only one made in the world. It's gone because somebody decided to steal it at Port Royal because
must have been a big fan.
Must have been a huge fan. Really wanted it. They must have thought it was like a NOS energy drink banner or something that they could just take from somebody's campsite.
In any case, all good.
Maybe it's an official T2T banner.
Maybe
in more ways than one.
I don't know what that even supposed
Possibly.
to mean. We're good here. Comment, tag us anything you want to hear about the rest of the week.
Yeah, let us know what you want to talk, what you want us to hear, and then watch out on our socials too. We'll be at the track all weekend. I'm sure Chris will have Williamsgrove covered. I'll have Selinsgrove covered. Willie and Stilly Grove. Yes,
indeed.
Our banner was stolen. The whole idea was to have that banner behind us. Oh, what we do have though.
We should definitely.
I totally keep forgetting about this. We got T-shirts. Ta-da! This is what we have right now. If you're interested in a T-shirt, message us. Let us know. We'll try to link up with either at a track or we'll send it to you.
Yeah, we'll get a promo worked out here too. Kind of let you know what's going on. Maybe we'll just do some find our banner shirts down the road. Who knows? But yeah. I'm good. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.